Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a lesson proving that the so-called Latinos and Native Americans are the lost 10 tribes, and they are Hebrew Israelites. And this lesson was inspired by an individual by the name of Peter Piper that left a few comments on my one of my videos, and we had a short dialogue. Pretty much his first comment was the Latinos and Native Americans are not Hebrew Israelites. And I commented back and told him, the curses of Deuteronomy 28, say otherwise. And then we had a short dialogue back and forth. For some reason, these comments just vanished off my video, off the comment section of one of my videos. And I find that very odd, but I'm not surprised because, we know Evil E, he's shadow banning live streams, cutting channels, taking down videos, and he's also shadow banning comments, man. I mean, there'll be times I put comments up in live streams, they don't even come up. And I'm not blocked from that channel, obviously, But some precepts will go up, but some won't. You see, because this man's got the algorithm going, but, for whatever reason, I can't pull up the comments. I was looking for them, and they're nowhere to be found. But needless to say, what brought this lesson back to remembrance, because I told myself, I think I'm going to go into a lesson, on the lost 10 tribes, through the spirit, because this individual can't be the only one, with that mindset. And, what brought it back to remembrance was actually a video that the beloved brother over here at Prisoners of Hope, my beloved brother Banayam, he sent the video from GMS Watchman, right? A short clip that brother just made going into this Native American woman, pretty much going into how Yahweh Shai would visit her forefathers, stories that were pretty much passed down from generation to generation. But needless to say, I'm going to play that clip, right? And, just get into a quick lesson going into Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. Grab some precepts, grab some maps, grab some, some artifacts, and, pretty much, make the point, Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But yeah, we can actually go, we can go straight to the clip. We can go straight to the clip.
And few Dene people know these things. And the argument is always, well, the white people brought us Christianity. It is not, well, they brought it later. But we as Native Americans and my people as the Dene people, they walked and talked with Christ long before the pilgrims came. They knew him. And he walked around among them. When you think about the drawing that these men have, and then think about what my grandfather and the 12 men spoke about, and my grandfather said that they built a ship, and they came across the great waters, and it was tumultuous. And they came here to this land. They were in the east. And there was millions, eventually, millions and millions of Native Americans.
See that's heavy. And real quick, I forgot to mention, this individual, Peter Piper, throughout the dialogue we had, he seemed like he was a black-only mindset individual. Can't say he was an Israelite. He didn't really come off as one, but he seemed like a black-only mindset type individual. And he was adamant, on the Native Americans not being Israelites. He specified how, they're being paid reparations, they have their own land, etc. And I had mentioned to him, I said, they suffer from the curses. They grow up in poverty-stricken communities. They're living on reservations in 2022. They're redlined. They suffer from the same curses as us. Because they're Hebrew Israelites. And pretty much, like I said, we had a short dialogue, and he was definitely adamant, on them not being Hebrew Israelites. I just want to make that point as well. And that's what pretty much stirred my spirit up. And one of the brothers left a comment. One of the brothers actually posted Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. One of the beloved brothers. And that brother knows who he is. And that was beautiful. But needless to say, I really wish I could pull up the comments. But again, Evil E, he's working his magic. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it all came back full circle. Because like I said, the brother posted that video I just showed you through the spirit on the chat. You see, so, and not to mention the brother GMS Watchman posted it originally. So it's all through the spirit. You see, and it brought me to remembrance. But yeah, Lord willing, this to be edifying to you, Akiyam and Akwathiam. But let's go straight to Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. And I'm gonna start at the 39th verse, and it reads, "And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoners out of their own land. In the time of Hosea the king," right, which is Hosea, right, whom Salmanessar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. And we can read about this. We're going to go get it, right, in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. Right, I'm actually going to start from the top, and I'm going to jump to verse 23. I'm going to jump to the point. But this is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, and verse 1, and it reads, "In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord." And every single one of the kings of the northern northern kingdom was wicked. There wasn't one righteous king out of the northern kingdom. I just want to put that out there. Look it up. And there was only 8 out of the southern kingdom. There were 8, righteous kings. But needless to say, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Right? Jeroboam was the most wicked. I believe Jeroboam was the first king of Israel. And he was the most wicked. Right? Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Okay, now let me jump down. Right, I'm going to jump down to verse 22. Right, "For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam." See, Jeroboam was going completely off. He was sacrificing the idols, setting up incense and burning sacrifices. Look it up. And honestly, if you can actually read through this chapter, right, prior to verse 22, and it goes into it, how Jake was getting down. Jake was moving in the spirit of Jeroboam, right? Worshiping Baal, going off, right? Let's continue on. "For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did," right? "They departed not from them," right? "Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, right? The prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria until this day. Okay, and this is what we're reading in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. Okay, now, and we continue reading, right? And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Seraphim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. These are all heathen. See? This is one of the reasons why Yahweh Shai said to his disciples, enter not into the cities of Samaria, enter ye not, roughly paraphrasing, right? And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. Okay? Now this is circular history. All right, this is not just like, you know, for example, let's just go get it. Let me see if I got my Google here. Khan. Now we simply type in Assyrian captivity, right? And we can get this in a Wikipedia. And we can read this one big paragraph real quick, right? And it reads, the Assyrian captivity, right, of the Assyrian exile is the period of the history of ancient Israel and Judah, during which several thousand Israelites from the kingdom of Israel were forcibly relocated by the Neo-Assyrian Empire. This is one of the many instances of the resettlement policy of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. The kingdom of Israel was conquered by the Neo-Assyrian monarchs Tiglath-Pileser III and Shalmaneser V. Okay, the later Assyrian rulers Sargon II and his son and successor Sennacherib, right, were responsible for finishing the 20-year demise of Israel's northern 10-tribe kingdom. Although they did not overtake the kingdom of Judah, Jerusalem was besieged but not taken. The tribes forcibly resettled by Assyria later became known as the 10 lost tribes. You see? We just read that in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. Let's go back to the scriptures. Back in the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, and verse 40 again. Those are the 10 tribes, you see, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, right? And they were in Assyria, right? But they took this counsel among themselves that they should leave the multitude of the heathen. And they were able to do this because Babylon overtook Assyria. All right, do the research. As Babylon overtook Assyria, right? They conquered Assyria, and that's when Jake was able to make these moves. Okay? That they would leave the multitude of the heathen, right? The Assyrians, right? And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And what land is that talking about? What far country is that? America, man. And this whole part of the earth, this whole Western hemisphere. Okay? Because when you pull up a map, I got a map, right? From circa 63 BC. Okay, this is way after the captivity, all right, of the Assyrians. Now, I believe it was 722 BC. We went into captivity under the Assyrians. This is circa 63 BC. You see, to 23 AD. And what do you see? The Middle East. This is all the land they knew of. You see? Let's zoom in a little more. See, you got Cyprus, right? Obviously, you got the Persian, right? Persia, Salakia, Caucasus Mountains. Okay? Cilicia, Athens. See? Italy. This was the known world at the time. This is circa 63. Okay? Now, mind you, Jake knew how to move to this area of the earth. How? Why? Because of our beloved King Solomon. Okay? Remember, Solomon had a navy pursuant to we can get it in 1 Kings. What's that? The 10th chapter. Right? He had a navy. He would come over here for resources. Right? Before we get that, let's read a little more. Salakia. Into 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. Right? That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Right? They were going completely off in their own land. As you will find out if you read 2nd Kings, the 17th chapter. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. Right? Now, the open sea is what? Tumultuous, man. Very violent, vile. The ocean is vile, man. It's very aggressive. It took divine intervention, okay, for the northern kingdom, for those 10 lost tribes to get over here. Right? For through that country, there was a great way to go, right? Namely, of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth. All right, which is a buzzword for America. Okay, because this is where they ended up. As we're going to further prove in the lesson, Lord willing. Right? But what I want to get is this one year and a half. Okay? Now when we go to 1 Kings, the 10th chapter, in the 22nd verse, right? For the king, right, Solomon, had at sea a navy of Tarshish, of Tarshish, with the navy of Hiram. All right. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks. Okay, so it was a round trip, 3-year round trip, to get to and from this part of that world, or earth rather, world, same thing, to back to the Middle East. And remember, Solomon was the wisest king to ever live, even to this day, man. And Solomon was Yahweh Shai, if you can receive it. So the point is, the northern kingdom had understanding, right, of this part of the world. Because remember, they didn't get that land. They didn't get the tribes were together at this time. All right, this is throughout the time of the 40 years of peace. Okay, and the northern kingdom didn't get the land of Samaria. What was that? Is that 1 Kings the 16th chapter? They didn't get that land until 1 Kings the 16th chapter. You see, so they were around. They they were around wise counsel. You see, so they knew they had understanding. And of course, divine intervention played a part, as we read, that the Lord kept back the floods. You see? And there's more proof. Because when you I have a let me see, do I have it on, do I gotta search this? When you go to the Lost Lunas Decalogue stone, where is it? Matter of fact, I think it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. Now this is the Lost Lunas Decalogue stone. Okay? Now this stone was found in New Mexico. All right, with the 10 Commandments on it. All right, and you can look, you can see in 3 locations what to say. It says Yahweh. You see? And who was in this part of the world? The Tainos, the Taino tribes and the Native Americans, man. This is solid proof right here. All right, this is Paleo Hebrew, man. You see that? This is Paleo Hebrew. And you can do your research on this. You can look further into this, you know? But this is what it is. The so-called Latinos and Native Americans are Israelites. And it's proven in these latter days. Because who's getting this? Who got the spirit on them? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Who's out there preaching and pushing this word in truth and sincerity, sound doctrine? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And there's speckled birds out there too. We got a speckled bird in our camp. Solid brother. You see? And like I said, this clown Peter Piper talking about the Native American. He was adamant on the Native Americans not being Israelites. The Lord wouldn't put his spirit on the Native American because I'm a Gadite. But that shows the foolishness in this man. See, I know my grandfather was a Cherokee Indian, man. Obviously on my dad's side, because this is how you track this thing. Pursuing the numbers 1 and 16. Or 1 and 18 rather. See? But that goes with the simple mindset of Jake. You know, Jake is quick to open his mouth, but they have no understanding. Here it is, he's saying that there's no way, or he said, what did he say? The Native Americans are not Israelites. Latinos and Native Americans. You see? But he was adamant on the Native Americans. Not realizing he's talking to a Gadite. You see? Ignorance is a bliss, man. It truly is. It truly is. You know, but this is what it is. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? He's only dealing with his people. All right? And all the Israelites do not look like Michael Jordan and Wesley Snipes. And if you have that simple mindset, hey, there's no way you're a part of this thing. You're not one of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai's called, and there's no way you're part of his chosen. All right? Because the remnant, the hopeful elect, is not going to have that form of mindset. All right, and I told him, I said, you know, humble down, because he was super proud. You know, there was a good dialogue we had. I really wish I could get these comments, but hey, it's all through the spirit. But needless to say, I did say, you know, humble down, you know, and Lord willing, you know, and what I say, humble down and pray in the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, right, and Lord willing, you know, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai will open up your eyes through the Ruach HaKodesh, through the Holy Spirit, you know. So, hey, whether you can believe it or not, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans are the Israelites, man. Okay, whether you can believe it or not. And it also shows in their warrior-like characteristics, man. Because if you don't know, when these damn devils came over here warring with God, hey, they couldn't handle God, man. They had to take it to another level with weaponry in order to handle God. God was taking these devils out. And a matter of fact, the scripture actually goes into this. Let's get one more, and we'll close out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? Let's get what is it? 1 Chronicles, the 5th chapter. Khan in the 18th verse, right? And it reads, the book of First Chronicles, chapter 5 and verse 18, it reads, the sons of Reuben, right, which are the Seminole Indians, and the Gadites, right, the Native Americans, and half the tribe of Manasseh, the Cubans, of valiant men, man. You know what that word valiant means? Let's get it real quick. Let's get it from here. Did I close that out? Hey, let's get it from here then. Valiant, right? Possessing or showing courage or determination. Okay? Brave, fearless, courageous, heroic, bold. You see? This is how the Northern Kingdom rolls, man. Dog, man. You see? Hey, it ain't the same when you warring with somebody that's ready to die, man. You see, and that's the energy that the Northern Kingdom comes in, man. Let's continue reading, right? The book of First Chronicles, chapter 5 and verse 18, it reads, the sons of Reuben and the Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword and to shoot with bow, man, and skillful in war, were 44,760 that went out to war, man. Hey, the whole nation can war with their hands, but when you're dealing with the Northern Kingdom, hey, you better be ready to war, man. You see, the Northern Kingdom, those are the warrior tribes, man. You see? And Evil E couldn't do nothing with Jake. That's why they had to pull out that Gatling gun, man. Hey, but it's all good, because at the end of the day, hey, Jake is going to overcome these devils, man. Okay, and at the end of the day, we're going to get the win as a nation. You see how? Through Yahweh Shai. Because pursuing the Isaiah, the 63rd chapter, hey, who coming from Edom? Okay? Who coming from Edom? Should we get it? Yeah, let's close out there. Let's close out there, Isaiah. Hey, it's kind of off topic, but let's go. It's never off topic when it comes to speaking about Lord Yahweh Shai. Right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 1, and it reads, because this damn devil has done a lot of damage and he shed a lot of blood of our people, man. He damn near eradicated God, man. Hey, this man's got to pay for these things. Right, let's close out here through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. The book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 1, and it reads, who is this that cometh from Edom? See? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's on the crosshairs of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. With dyed garments from Basra. Basra is what? A capital city in Edom. It was a capital city. You see, Basra is a buzzword for America as well. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save, man. And who's he coming to save? Hey, pursuing the Isaiah, the 59th chapter and the 20th verse. Hey, those that turn from transgression in Jacob. See, he's coming for the remnant, man. The elect. Lord willing, we're part of that precious number. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwedash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwathium were edified. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Kal Halalium La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kwedash. Shalom.